Hello YouTube. Well, finally gonna start building those drawers. So starting out with the two shorter ones in the around the refrigerator, one below it, one above, or one for it. And the bottom one is 9 inches. The top one I'm making it 4 inches, so that the refrigerator has got room for airflow over the compressor and so on. Now it's like 24 the 9-inch one is 24 inches deep and 34 inches wide. So taking into account there's the drawer slides are a 3/4 of an inch, and the width got to take into account the 3/4 inch plywood. So the front and back pieces, because the side pieces are going to be on the outside, so when I pull on that front piece, it's pulling on the two sides, if that makes any sense. So I need to cut these to length, but because I'm going to put in 1/2 inch bottoms, it's easier for me, before I cut it to length, to cut a dado down through. And easiest way is I got my little router, 1/2 inch bit, got a fence set up so that it's a 1/2 inch in, and so now I'm going to run those through all these 4 pieces and then do the then I'll cut them to length. Very important, hearing protection. This thing's got a high pitch whine, and I have enough trouble hearing as it is. So let me put that on and we'll get to cutting. All right, so I got all the pieces cut. I got these nice brackets to clamp them in place. Very important is to do a dry fit. Before I put any glue on here, I want to get them all lined up. Make sure everything fits together, and if I cut it right, all this should slide right together. Okay, so that one fits. So I'm going to try the other one, and then we'll get gluing these things up. Remember, this is the one for the refrigerator, and the other one is going to be below it. So let me make sure that one fits. Same way, and then we will get to gluing it up. Okay, so I got stuff dry fit together, and I'm going to put this together with something a little different. I haven't used this before, Gorilla Glue, and this stuff's water activated. So I'm going to take a little bowl of water, I'm going to lightly wet one surface and then put the glue on the other. Reason I'm wearing a glove on one hand, this is the wet hand, this is the glue hand. That way I'm not getting the glue on the wet hand and activating it on my skin. Seems like a good idea. And just using a paper towel, just putting these together. It says to clamp them for 1 or 2 hours, and it's fully cured in 24. So what I'm going to do is use my handy dandy brad nailer and nail these together so that they that'll hold it in place. You want them nice and tight, so that's want them cut really tight. That's why I got the mallet. I can tap it if I have to and get these things together. I put the 2 sides on because these are getting glued to that. I'm not gonna glue the bottoms in. They're just gonna float, and it shouldn't be a problem. So let me get the gluing. Well, there's the 2 drawers, and I gotta leave them for a couple hours for that glue to set up before we move on. Oh, it's nice. These is I can check to make sure that they're square. If I cut that plywood square, then it should be okay. So the next thing is going to be putting the drawer slides on, and I gotta wait a little bit. So I think I'll have some lunch. See you in a bit. All right, I'm putting a couple of coats of clear poly, some oil-based urethane on here, and got one coat on them already. I'm gonna give a little scuff sand and hit them again. Now I hit the sides, I'm not hitting the front and back, because the front is going to have a faceplate on it and the back is never going to be seen, but the sides will be when I pull it out. So I want to seal the insides and get them nice. So let me grab some sandpaper, just a little light scuff, because the first coat leaves a little bit of roughness, and some tack cloths, which will take the dust out. So I'll get to that. And now the fun part, and I use the term loosely, is to put the drawer slides in. Now I have two different styles of drawer slides. These are ones I had on the old setup for the refrigerator. The downside to this particular kind is these are heavy duty. These will hold like up to 500 pounds, but they do not come apart. So they're sort of a pain to put in, but I'm not going to throw away expensive drawer slides. So I think the easiest way is going to be for me to mount these in the cabinet and then mount them on the drawer, I think. So what I need to do, make this the easiest way to try to get these things level. So I measure to the center of these holes. From the edge of it is 1.5 inches. So let me go down here and we'll figure out where this is going to go. And then let's make it 1.75 inches to the bottom of it, just to make life easy. So at 4.5, and 4.5, so that gives me a center line for the drawer slide. So now I should be able to get the drawer slide in, and I'll figure out where the holes are, drill a couple pilot holes and put the screws in, and that'll get that mounted here. And then I could bring the drawer in. I'll put a line on that to match up. All right. So I got a couple of pilot holes drilled, and just lined up on Always fun trying to do this stuff one-handed. And now I just continue down a few more holes, a lot of them down the other end. But there's a big hole in the middle piece for me to get through. And we'll get this installed and then get the drawer in once I do the other side. Now this part is a little trickier because I've got to lift this up, and trying to do both sides is a little difficult, but I've got a big hole and a lot of little holes, and what I need to do is I've got the line right here. I got to get that line up to where that hole is and get the first one in right up there on the edge. And what makes it fun is the two different size screws that I need. Well, these are heavy duty. They'll hold up to 500 pounds. And I don't plan on putting that much into them, obviously. Now what I'll do is get the big one in on the other side and then lift it up so I can start getting some of the small screws in, and I'm going to put them in pretty much every hole because I definitely don't want this failing. So let me get the other side and then see if I can get this up high enough and get them in. The more as I go, if I can get it up high and put this screw in, then these get easier and I pull it out all the way. So, right, let me get the other side. And I'll show you the finished product. Or at least this drawer. Alright, the first drawer is in. I did put this piece here so I could put a latch on it. The drawer slides for the refrigerator drawer, which is that shorter one, have these locks on them. So they go in, they lock in place. I decided to do that on these after I saw them in somebody else's bus, but not on the bottom one. That's going to have a latch, and that's more longer term storage. The difference is when I put these things together, so I pull this all the way out and then do the thing again. Let me see if I can do this. do the latch again, this center part, which is the part that attaches to the drawer, pulls completely loose. Makes it a lot easier, is I can mount these on the walls of the cabinet and these on the line on the drawer and be able to just slide them in. So makes it easy to get that drawer out. The bottom ones, like I said, those, the downfall of that heavy duty one is that they don't come apart. So in order to get that drawer out, I got to take all the screws out. On this one, I could pull it out to get to whatever. So let me get to putting this together, and it goes in the cabinet the same way, just difference is these get mounted on the drawers. Oh, one thing, these are 26 inches, and you'll see the drawer is not. So that was on purpose, because I didn't want the refrigerator sliding around. Actually, this goes that way. So it'll be fine. I may end up drilling another hole in here to give it another anchoring point. So, all right, let me get to it. All right, so I got the refrigerator drawer in, and it positive locks with these little blue handles. I just gotta lift up on it and slide it out. So there we go. I gotta get my son to help me lift the refrigerator in. And that's pretty much the lower half. I am going to put a little drawer in here eventually, but not right now. Next is I'm going to build 4 5-inch drawers. They're going to span this whole area here. And going to pretty much do the same as everything else. So I'm going to do that, and in the next video we'll be doing the face frame, or the faces for the door and down through, so everything looks nice, and you know, similar finish to the closet here. So there you go, moving right along. And I'll see you next time, YouTube. Safe travels, and see you down the road, my friends. Bye. So my drawer pulls just got delivered, and I gotta say, this is some of the coolest packaging I have ever seen. I'll let you see what the drawer pulls are later, because they're something special, but I just thought I'd comment on that's pretty cool.
Off the wagon and he spread out his ears. Brace yourselves and come for your women.